Hey everybody, today I'm going to be making jerky from the goose breast from the goose that my husband got. And this is one of the types I'm going to be using. This comes with everything you need. It comes with the cure, it comes with the seasoning, and it even comes with a little shaker bottle that you mix everything in and shake it on your meat. Then I'm also going to be using another kind. This came with my my Nesco dehydrator, and this is just an original flavor. So since I have this and we have enough meat, I'm going to be using this on the other meat. So I'll be showing you two different ways to do this. So here's the first way. He already has it all boned out, and I weighed it, and this little fillet and the breast weighed 1.03 pounds. And the seasoning that I'm going to be using goes by a pound of meat. You do it by the pound. So here's our goose breast. And I'm going to be cutting it up. So when you do this, you want to cut against the grain of the meat. And on this goose breast, this part, the grain goes this way, and on this half, the grain goes that way. So I'm going to be cutting it in between, just like that. And then since the grain goes this way, I will be cutting against the grain. That will make it more tender. And we're going to be doing 1/4 inch slices. So I'm going to go ahead and slice all this up. Well, let me show you the other one. And then on this one, the grain goes this way, right here. So we'll be cutting it this way. So you always cut against the grain. That way you have smaller fibers and it's easier to tenderize. So when I get all this cut up, we'll come back. Alright, the next step is we lay this out on a paper towel, and then you try to get it as dry as you can. And I'm going to go ahead and do this to all of it, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright, so after I patted everything dry, I laid my meat out on a cake rack. I still have some more meat. What we want to do is sprinkle this on the meat. I better put it the other way. I'm missing some. And then we're going to turn it over. So I'm just going to put another one on here and flip it. And then we're going to do the other side. Make sure I get it on every piece. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of it, and then I'll come back and show you what we're going to do next. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to stack the strips on each other tightly. That's what it says. And I have never made jerky like this before. It's kind of why I'm sharing it, because I figure if I'm going to mess up, may as well give somebody else a laugh, huh? So we're just going to stack all these on here, and then we're going to put them in this plastic bag, just like that. And I'm going to put all of them in there, and then that is going to marinate for 24 hours. And then when that's done marinating, I'll come back and show you. I'm going to lay it out, and this I'm going to do in the oven because my dehydrator is busy, and even if you dehydrate this, you still have to put it in the oven to finish it because it has to come up to 165 degrees to make it safe. Alright, second goose breast is all cut up, and this is really different than the other one. This one, there's two different directions. There's one for ground meat and one for sliced meat. The one for sliced meat says to put this, add this, cure and spice to a 1/4 cup of water, and I'm using lukewarm water. And I guess I've probably had this pack for maybe a year. A little lumpy, but it's been sealed, so make sure I get all the cure out of there. And I'm just going to mix this up, get the lumps out. I think I got all the lumps out now. And then on this one, you just put your meat in a bag, and I am using a bigger bag. I'm using a gallon bag this time so that I can lay the meat down because it's going to marinate in the juice. So I'm just going to take my meat, dump it in the bag, and then you just pour this over it. Make sure I get all this stuff out of there. And then we're going to zip it up, blow the air out. And then we're just going to mix it all up, and then we let this marinate for 24 hours as well. So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how the two different types turn out. I know the taste will be different, but this one is a lot easier to me. So maybe this one will turn out, and this is what we'll buy the next time. Although I have 2 other boxes of the other stuff. So there we go. Goose breast marinating to be turned into jerky. And we'll come back for the next step tomorrow. Alright, so we're back, and it has actually been about 36 or 38 hours since I put this into marinade. You can leave it up to 48 hours. So what I did was I took a baking tray and I lined it with a piece of parchment paper, and then this is one of the dehydrating trays from my Sun oven. I think the spaces are just about what I want to lay all this out. So I'm going to go ahead, my hands are going to get messy, I'm going to go ahead and lay this out, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the tray before I put it in the oven. Alright, so I got that other tray done, and I'll show you after I get all this laid out. This is the original, and there's still a lot of liquid in this package. So I'll come back when I have all this laid out. Alright, so I ended up with 3 trays. This is the hickory, the dry mix. This one is the original that was the liquid mix. And then this tray is half and half. And I marked on the paper so I would know. So this is now going to go into a 200-degree oven, and it's going to stay there for 1.5 hours to 2 hours with the door cracked open, and then I'm going to check it at about 1.5 hours. The directions for the jerky say put it in a 200-degree oven with the door slightly cracked. Well, what you see on my oven, that is as slightly cracked as it'll go without slamming shut. So what I did was I took a canning jar lid and I just stuck it in there, and that leaves it open just enough that it's a crack open, and that's what I'm doing. Alright, so I ended up leaving my jerky in the oven for about 2.5 hours, and it still isn't real hard. It's still nice and chewy. This is the original, and for me this is a little too peppery, but it still is really good. And you can see it's still really pliable, but it's done. And then let me show you the other one. This is the hickory, and this is my favorite, even though it was, of course it's my favorite, it was the one that was a little more work, not much. But this one's really good. It's a little more salty, but I really like it a lot better. And it seemed like it didn't quite dry up the meat as much. But they both have a really good flavor, and I've had quite a few pieces of each. I had these little pieces here that were like the little tenderloin pieces, and that's what I've been eating. And considering that I really do not like duck at all, this is really a nice way that we'll be able to use it, and we can both enjoy it. So that's it for now. There's my goose breast jerky, and I won't have any problem anymore with my husband going goose hunting, because this is how it's going to end up. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.